Hello everyone, my name is ZCRGator and welcome back to Tier List Tuesday. Today's tier list is all about rivals, specifically those from the Pokemon franchise. Throughout the many generations we've had a ton of rivals, some of whom absolutely despise you, they hate your guts, and they want nothing more than to beat you in a Pokemon battle. Whereas we've had others who are a lot friendlier, a more friendly rivalry in which you push each other to the top, you motivate each other each and every day, and you motivate each other through battle. But with that being said, before we end up ranking our rivals today, I thought I might as well break down the tiers real quick. At the very top, we have our S tier, the peak tier. These are the best of the best rivals in the games. The A tier, the amazing tier. They're not quite peak, but they're really good. B tier, above average. They're all right. Like they're pretty solid. The C tier, mid. I mean, these are the rivals that are just average. They're mediocre at best. D tier, below average. You're not really it. You're not that good, buddy. And then the F tier, you're absolute garbage. Why are you even in my game? Why are you even bothering me? But with that being said, before we get into today's video, if you end up enjoying it, please feel free to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, it really helps your boy out, and a comment down below. Who is your favorite rival in the Pokemon franchise and why? I'd love to know. And with that being said, let's get started, and we're starting off with, I think, absolute peak. I think this guy established what being a rival really truly means and feels. As Blue. I think Blue is one of the best, if not the best rival in the entire franchise. He set the tone, he set the bar really high, and I don't know if there's a rival that has ever been able to surpass him. Because Blue is, I think he's everything you kind of want in a rival. He's strong, he has a good team, decent character work, the plot twist at the very end. If you've ever played Red, Blue, or Yellow, which I haven't, but I played Fire Red and Leaf Green, he's the champion at the end of the day. Ooh! And not only that, but every single time you run into him, which I think his encounters throughout the game are pretty solid. I think they're pretty well placed. But every time you run into this man, he's like the trash talker on a. You ever play street ball and like basketball or any sport you've ever played in your life? There's always that one person that just talking up. They're trash talking to you. They're chirping in your ear. They're telling you just how much better than they are than you. That's Blue. Blue is that guy. He is that hater. He shows up. He rolls up. He pulls up and he says, "You know what? I'm better than you, and you know it, and I'm going to prove it right here." And then you absolutely wipe the floor with him in a Pokemon battle, and that doesn't faze him. He says, he just got lucky. It's just a fluke. I'm going to come back even stronger, and I'm going to beat you next time. I absolutely enjoy that because when I was a kid, he upset me. I wanted to beat him so badly. I wanted nothing more than to shut him up. He is that guy who just keeps chirping in your ear time and time again. Even if he loses, he's chirping in your ear, telling you just how much better he is than you. I think he's a great character. I really like Blue. I've grown to appreciate him throughout the years. I think he's a good champion. He's one of the better champions in my opinion. And he's your rival at the end of the day. I think he's a fantastic rival. Might be my favorite. With that being said, I'm putting him in the peak tier. He's really good. Up next, we have Silver from Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Actually, I don't know if he's in Crystal or not. I've never played Crystal. I don't know anything about Crystal. Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I really like Silver's character too. I think he's peak. This guy really grinded my gears, but in the good way, you know? This is a guy who if you've ever seen the Diamond and Pearl anime, he's basically Paul from the anime. Granted, Paul stole his flow, I should say, because Silver came out first. We got the son of Team Rocket's leader, Giovanni himself. This is a man who never really treated his Pokemon correctly, although he ends up having some character development throughout the game and ends up appreciating his Pokemon. He wanted nothing more than to get strong. He wanted to be strong and he wanted to beat you. He challenges you. I think the timing of when he challenges you throughout the game is pretty solid. I think he puts up a good challenge. I thought he had a kind of cool team that worked for his character. And as a rival, I think he does a fantastic job of just motivating you to want to beat him. Because, when I was a kid, I wanted nothing more than to shut this man up. How dare you talk about your Pokemon in that way? You should love and respect them. How dare you only use them as tools to get stronger? That's not very cool of you. And how dare you say those things about me? You really think you're that much better than me, buddy? And he does. I appreciate that about him. So I'll put him in my peak tier. I thought he was kind of challenging a little bit at times. Obviously, I don't know if he's really that challenging to me anymore because I'm a lot older and I know how to play Pokemon. But when I was a kid, this man gave me some problems. It really also depended on who you picked as your starter. If you picked Chikorita, oof, you struggled. I feel your pain, Chikorita. I absolutely adore Chikorita, but man, is it tough to play Heart Gold and Soul Silver with a Meganium. It is a bit of a struggle. But with that being said, I think Silver is a fantastic rival. I really enjoyed him. I thought he was good. He's going in my peak list. He's going in my peak tier, I should say. Up next, we have May and Brendan. I know technically they're the same, but they're kind of different. At least in ORAS, they had different dialogue. I always played as the guy character, so I always saw May as the rival. Based off of feel alone, I'm putting May in the above average. I thought she was a decent rival. I'm just gonna put Brendan in mid. I don't know why. I feel bad doing it to him, but he just doesn't feel like a rival to me. I don't know why May felt more like a rival to me than Brendan. It just is that way. Overall, I thought solid, to be honest. In the parts of the story where you encounter them, I felt were decent. I just wish you had I guess you fight Wally at the end of the game, the Victor Road. I wish you at least fought May sometime later. In ORAS, you do end up fighting May/Brendan after you beat the champion, which I thought was kind of cool. I just wish I think Lily Cove is the last time you fight them, and I don't even know if they have a fully evolved starter. And that kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. I wish you fought them again a little bit later down the line, maybe after the 8th gym leader, maybe right before the 8th gym leader. I don't know. I think there could have been one more final test for you. I'm sure there was one in post-game that I don't know about. But overall, I thought a decent rival. It wasn't... I don't know if I was really highly motivated to beat May/Brendan. Honestly, I think one of the scariest battles in the entire franchise is Route 110 May. Good lord. My poor Marshtomp just never made it past, and I was also dumb, so I never really had a good type coverage to beat May every time, so I just blindly try to use my Marshtomp to get through, and it just never really worked all that well. But with that being said, I thought above average. I don't know why. I feel bad for Brendan because he's probably the exact same. His dialogue's a little different, I think, in the ORAS games. He just feels a little mid to me as a rival. As a playable character, I liked his design, and that's why I always played as Brendan every time. But it just feels a little mid to me. And with that, I think he's getting joined by Mr. Is he getting joined by Wally? I'll put Wally here for now. I'll put him at the top of mid. Wally. What, you only fight him twice, I think. Now, in ORAS, he gets an absolute glow-up. And I do appreciate his glow-up. But I don't know. Because, he's such a pushover the first time you fight him. You don't even consider him a rival. You help him get his Pokemon. And you just kind of mind your own business. And then you show up in Mauville, you're ready to go challenge Watson, get your 3rd gym badge. And he's like, hey, I got a Pokemon. I got stronger. Please, you wanna battle? And then you one-shot his Ralts. Bam, gone. Don't have to deal with him until the Victory Road. He doesn't show up again until the Victory Road, and of course he's a good bit stronger. His Emerald team is solid. I like the fact that they had Altaria. The Delcatty was a little annoying to deal with. His Gardevoir was also a little annoying to deal with. That thing. I recently played through Emerald again, and I had a lot more trouble with him than I thought I would. In ORAS, I thought he was really cool because he gets a Mega Gallade. I thought that was super sick. I really like his theme in ORAS. Oh, it makes me want to put him in above average, but I don't think I can do that because I only fight him twice. And even then, the first battle is an absolute cakewalk. I don't even know if you could consider him that good of a rival. But also that last battle in ORAS is just sick. And I'm just going to put him in mid for that reason and that reason alone. So he's just going to stay in the mid tier. I'm fine keeping him there. With that being said, we're moving on to Diamond and Pearl. We're moving on to Barry. Barry was the first rival I ever had in a Pokemon game. I thought he was alright. He annoyed me a little bit, but like, he was an okay rival. I thought he's above average. I don't think he's mid, because I thought his team was kind of sick. I always liked how his team, I guess all of their teams technically change up depending on who you pick as your starter, but I thought he had a good-ish team. I really liked the fact he annoyed me because he had a Heracross and he had a Munchlax, and that dude got a Munchlax from a honey tree, and I have been trying. I have never once ever done that. And I've played through these games so many times. Never once have I ever encountered the Munchlax from the honey tree, and I'm waiting for the day. It's going to be glorious when that happens. Oh, that one simple fact absolutely upsets me about this man. It makes me want to beat that Munchlax / Snorlax anytime he throws it out. Oh, he annoys me because of it. He's alright as a character. I thought the times when you actually do fight him in the story made sense to me. I actually thought his encounters were pretty well placed. I think overall, his character's alright. He's just in a hurry and he just wants to win. That's kind of it. He kind of wants to prove to his dad that he could be all big and tough like his father is too. But yeah, I don't mind Barry. I thought he was above average. I think he's alright, you know? I guess alright would be mid. I think he's better than alright, but not amazing, you know? I don't know if he's that tier for me. But with that being said, we are moving on to the Unova region, Pokemon Black and White. We're starting off with Sharon, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Charon. I kind of liked him. Growing up, I don't know if I really was the biggest fan of his, but I guess I should say growing up. When I started playing Black and White, I didn't really care much for him. As I got older, I kind of liked him a little bit more. I thought his character, at least as a rival, I don't know what he did. He just did enough to kind of make me want to beat him every time. Maybe it's just the look, the cut of his jib. I wasn't meshing with. But I enjoyed him as a rival. I thought he was a decent rival, at least in the games. He might, depending on who ends up in the amazing tier, I might put him a little bit lower and above average. But I enjoyed it. I thought he had decently good encounters throughout the game, at least where you end up fighting him at. I enjoyed him a lot more than I enjoyed Bianca, because Bianca never really felt like a rival to me, weirdly enough. I feel bad saying that about Bianca, but I don't know, she just never felt like a rival to me. Sharon, on the other hand, did. And this was a guy who was motivated to become a champion. Didn't quite get there, but you know, I thought he was a very decent trainer, good team. I'm going to put him in the A tier. I enjoyed battling him. Up next is Bianca. I want to put her in mid because I want to be nice, but she's kind of below average for me. Dude, if I can't. I gotta put Wally below average if I'm gonna put her there. I'm gonna put her in mid. I'm gonna switch it up. The only reason why I'm doing that is just because at least Bianca had a couple of good, like later on in the game, she actually had a decent team, you know, and she had a decent character arc, and you actually end up fighting her enough, you battle her enough throughout the game to where you could classify her as the rival, whereas Wally just doesn't feel that way to me, you know? You only fight him twice. Whereas Bianca, you battle her like 5-6 times throughout the game, and she has okay-ish teams, you know? Her character arc was fine, she just had daddy issues. Typical white girl stuff, but with that being said, I thought she's kind of mid. Like, she didn't feel like a rival to me, which I feel a little bad, because that's kind of what she was, but not really. Whereas Sharon, to me, felt way more like a rival than she did. Bianca was a fine character. I don't really, I guess I shouldn't say I'm overly enjoyed her character as displeased with it. It's just mid. It's just average, you know? It's mediocre at best. So I'm just going to put her right there. Up next, we have an absolute peak rival. My boy N is just, he might be, do I want to say he's the best? He might be the best in my mind. The only reason why is because he's kind of the main antagonist of Pokemon Black and White. I do enjoy his story a lot. This is a man who, he grew up being friends with Pokemon. He never really used Pokemon or Pokeballs to capture his friends, as he calls them, and he was found by the leader, the king, technically speaking. Even though N's technically the king, but Getsus was really the king. He was the guy pulling the strings behind everything. He was found by Getsus. Getsus raised him, and he basically used N to try to be PETA in a way. They basically said, don't you dare release all of your Pokemon right here, right now, because you're not being good people to them. You were actually hurting Pokemon by forcing them to battle and all this stuff, whereas he just secretly wanted to take over the world. That didn't work for him. But N, was he was manipulated, honestly. He was kind of manipulated, he was used, he was, I shouldn't say brainwashed, but convinced that was the only way to save the world, was by stopping people and Pokemon from interacting, as in them using Pokeballs to capture them and all that stuff. He didn't like that. He didn't vibe with that. And throughout the story, he encounters you, and he basically bestows his viewpoint, his point of view, his philosophy, and why he continues to challenge you. But then you also start, changing his ways, because he's battling you, and he's like, oh my god, these Pokemon absolutely love doing what they're doing, especially with this trainer. They absolutely love and adore this trainer. I don't know why I can't have that. Why can't... Maybe this is why people and Pokemon interact. Maybe this is why people capture Pokemon and battle with them, because they enjoy it. They both can work together. Just the character development, everything about him, I absolutely love. Plus, I thought he had some of the best, if not the best teams out of any of the rivals. I think he's super sick. Plus, he gets a legendary. You get to fight him with a legendary. Oh, it's so cool. Whether you get Zekrom or Reshiram and you fight him with the opposite one. He's my favorite. He's the top of all the rivals. I really like him as a character. I think he works well, and I think he works really well as a rival, because you do have that incentive of wanting to beat him, because he is kind of the main antagonist of the story, and therefore, as being the big main, he's not the main villain, but as one of the main villains, you always want to beat the main villain. He's working with Team Plasma. I gotta beat him because you're working with the evil organization. How dare you? But I feel like he's kind of motivated, at least in how he feels. Obviously he learns that maybe he was misled, or maybe he was, wrong about things, but that's character development, and that's what makes him even better, So therefore, I like him. I think he's peak. We're moving on to the rival of Black and White 2. Staying in the Unova region, we're going to Hugh. I think he's better than I always give him credit for, because all I think about when I see this kid is my poor loin, my sister's poor loin. I must stop Team Plasma because they stole my sister's poor loin. How could they do that to me? Hey, this dude's out here throwing punches. He's absolutely pushing grunts. He said, I don't care, even if you're a reformed Team Plasma, even if you're the good side of Team Plasma, you're still Team Plasma. You did bad things, therefore I don't like you. And he annoyed me. It's weird. His character kind of annoyed me a little bit, but I also thought he was decent enough. I kind of like the character arc of him just beefing with Team Plasma. He's this internal hatred for them. And, it worked for me. It's weird because I don't know if I quite see him as a rival, but I also do at the same time. But with that being said, I still think he's better than those in the above average tier. So I'm going to put him in the A tier. I thought he was a good rival. I think his team is solid. It's been a little bit since I've played Black and White 2. I remember when you actually fight him, where I don't know if they were the greatest placements, but I still enjoyed the fights nonetheless. And I think he does a good enough job as a rival. I think his character is good enough to where I'm cool putting him in the A tier. I think he's in that amazing tier for me. Up next, we are moving to the Kalos region, and I will say these are probably the games that I haven't played in the longest. So my memory might be a tad bit hazy with this. But with that being said, I've never played as Serena in X and Y, so I have no idea if Callum says the exact same dialogue or not as Serena. So I'm just going to put them in the exact same tier. I think they were above average from what I remember. The only reason why I'm putting them this high is because I didn't really care for the dialogue or anything they said. Their character arc was meh. remember the battles being a little bit difficult. I remember them, I think they get Mega Evolution. I know you have to battle them to get your Mega Ring, which I thought was kind of cool. I thought that was a cool way of deciding it instead of just, oh, I'm just going to give you the Mega Ring. You can have it because I'm so friendly. I enjoyed the fact they actually had to battle to get it. I think they get a Mega at some point because I feel like I remember Serena having like a Mega Absol. And I was like, that's kind of sick. I enjoyed battling them. I thought they were okay as a character. The dialogue, the actual development of the character was meh. But I thought the placement of when you battled them was pretty well. I thought it had enough frequency, and I thought they were well enough placed. And I rather enjoyed fighting them anytime I got to. So I'm just going to place them right in B tier. I think they're above average. Up next is Shauna. I don't really remember anything about her. I do remember liking her more than the other two. I think she's just kind of mid. I kind of just wiped the floor with her, and she just like, all right, cool, bye-bye. And whatever my nickname was, Big C, she said, cool. And then she shows up, hey, you want to battle like 3 more times? Sure, I guess. And you just wipe the floor with her, and she's like, all right, cool. I don't really know much else about her character. I guess she did help you in the X and Y when you're about to fight Yveltal or Xerneas, when you're going through the Team Flare, like, laboratory or whatever. She helps there, but like, I don't know, there wasn't really much to Shauna. She's fine. She's better, I guess, than most of the others. I'm going to put her in the mid tier. So up next, we have the 2 worst rivals. I think two of the worst rivals in the entire franchise, Trevor and Tierno. I just did not care for them whatsoever. I mean, Trevor was basically Wally, but worse. Tierno just danced. He's cool, I guess. Like, good for you. But like, to call you a rival? You weren't even. No, you're not a rival. You're just not a rival. I only battled you maybe like twice in the entire story, and even then you were a cakewalk both times. All you did was dance throughout the whole time. So I don't know how you could be considered a rival. A friend, sure, you could be a friend, but a rival, no. They're some of the worst rivals, at least how I remember them being. So I'm just gonna put them in the trash tier. I was not a big fan. Up next, we have my boy Hao. I didn't mind Hao, honestly. I thought Hao was above average. He was the first rival that I can remember, because Shauna and Serena/Callum, they both take, like, obviously Serena/Callum takes the starter that's super effective against you. Shauna takes the one that isn't. Same with Bianca and Sharon. Hao was the first one I could ever remember where he took the starter that you are super effective against, and I was like, "Oh, you're that type of guy. You don't really want to beat me." But I didn't mind Hao. I thought he was solid. I kind of liked him. I don't know why. I just liked his vibe. I thought the frequency of when you battle him and where you battle him was pretty solidly placed throughout Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I will say it's also been a little bit since I played those games, so my memory's a tad bit hazy. He kind of stole Blue's flow in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon when you fight him for the championship, but granted, it's both of you guys fighting each other for the right to become the first champion. So, or technically speaking, you become the first champion, but then he immediately challenges you right after. So, I thought that was kind of a cool gimmick. His teams are kind of cool. I like the Alolan Raichu he had. I don't know what. The only reason why I put him in above average is because I really liked his vibe. I wasn't the biggest. I'm not the biggest fan of your rival being your friend, but I thought Hao was done well enough to where I was cool with it. You know, I didn't mind it, and to be honest, I was okay with it. I might actually put him in the amazing tier. I didn't think I would do that, but I kind of like him more than the rivals on this tier. I don't know what it is about Hao. I enjoy the man. Maybe it's because he's always eating those malasadas, but there's something about Hao. He's got a certain charm to it. And you know, I'm here for it. Up next, I think we have another. Oh, do I want to put him on the same tier as Hao though? Because I think this guy owns the amazing tier. I don't know if I should say he's peak, because I think I like the other 3 more than him. It's so weird, because I almost kind of want to put him on his own tier, like by himself. Because I don't know if he's exactly peak for me, but I also think he's better than the 3 I have on the tier themselves. Because I don't want to put. I think I'll put him in the peak tier, just because I don't want him. No offense to Hao, but Gladion's way better than Hao, and I like Gladion's character a lot more. He's just edgy. He's edgy. His team construction's kind of sick. I enjoyed his character. You want to beat him. I don't know why. You just always want to beat him in a battle just because he's just that edgy guy. He's like Shadow the Hedgehog. There's just something about him, you know? He's cool. He's cool in my book. I like Gladion. He still technically helps you out in the end. He helps you throughout the Aether Paradise or whatever it was called. You know what? I was a fan of Gladion's team. I liked that he had Type Null and Silvally. I thought that was really sick. I liked how he also had the Lycanroc Dusk form. I thought that was also pretty sick. I thought his team was always kind of sick. Big fan. I think Gladion was pretty cool. I enjoyed him as a rival. I enjoyed his character a lot, so that's probably why I'm going to put him the peak character. I'm a big fan of Gladion. I think he's pretty solid. Up next, we have absolute garbage again. I maybe played Let's Go once or twice, and I was never really a big fan of Trace. I didn't know that was his name. To be honest, I just knew him as Gary Oak knockoff, and yeah, I didn't really vibe with him. He was just a much worse version of Blue. I guess he had a Mega Pidgeot, which was kind of sick, but like, I don't know. I never really cared about him. You battle him at basically the same spots you battle Blue. He's not Blue. He's a friend, I guess. He's your buddy, but like, I don't really have motivation to really want to battle him. I never really did. I never really was a fan of his. He's just a knockoff. He is a cheap ripoff, and it just didn't work for me. So he's going in that tier. Up next, we're going to Generation 8, the Galar region. Starting off with Hop, I was not the biggest fan of Hop. Hop basically felt like How, but worse, you know? I never really was threatened by any of the teams. I did enjoy the frequency of when you battled him. I think that's good for a rival. And he did go through some character development where he's like, I just want to be strong like my brother, and then gets absolutely stomped by Bede. And he's like, dang, I'm kind of depressed. I don't know if I'm good at this. And then eventually he rolls back around. He's like, all right, you know what? Maybe I'm a good battler. I never thought he was a good battler. I absolutely wiped the floor with him every time. You know, that Eternatus battle, he never helped me. That man never helped me. Eternatus targeted me every single time. Not once did he ever go and target Hop. That was annoying. And that was smart. He analyzed and realized I was the threat. How was not a threat to him whatsoever. What was Double going to do to an Eternatus? Nothing. So he took my Pokemon out, and I was playing a Nuzlocke. I only lost 2 Pokemon in that Pokemon Sword Nuzlocke, and they both happened in the Eternatus battle. Oh, freaking hell, man. Screw that jerk, you know? I never really liked Hop all that much. I don't know. There's just something to his character. Didn't really vibe with him. I wasn't a big Hop guy. Some people are. All the power to you. I absolutely applaud that. I obviously there's a lot to like about his character. I don't know. I didn't vibe with Hop as well. Plus, I'm pretty sure like almost half or all of his character animations were just stolen from Hal. Like, I'm pretty sure they just took Hal's character animations and then applied them to Hop. Pokemon Company got a little lazy with that one, if I remember correctly. Now, I could also be wrong, and I could have just made that up. That's very well a thing that could have happened too. And or someone else made that up, and I read it believing it. Happens. But, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of Hop. But the other rivals of the game I thought were kind of sick. I thought Marty was cool. She wasn't, like, the greatest rival. Like, I shouldn't say greatest. She's definitely above average for me. I enjoyed her more than the people in the mid tier. But, like, I never felt super threatened by her. But also her vibe was just kind of sick. Like, she just said, all right, you want to battle? Cool. Let's go at it. And then eventually you fight in whatever tournament. She had a decent team. The Grimmsnarl was a little annoying to deal with. She eventually becomes a gym leader. I thought that was kind of cool. She takes over her brother's gym. The Team Yell stuff, I did not. I really didn't care for Team Yell. Absolute garbage. But I thought overall as a character, fine. I thought her team was kind of sick. She just goes in the above average. In the amazing tier, which I can't believe I'm saying this about any Sword and Shield character, I'm putting Bede in the amazing tier because even though Sword and Shield isn't really my favorite game of the franchise, I thought Bede was a good rival. I wanted nothing more than to beat up Mr. Grandma Hair. And he annoyed me. He really annoyed me. He grinded my gears a little bit. He got on my nerves. And I was ready to, I was ready to battle. I was ready to beat him. So I'm cool putting Bede in that amazing tier. I think The frequency of the battles were kind of nice at the beginning of the game, and then he gets in a little bit of trouble and you kind of forget about him until the tournament starts. I thought he had okay-ish development. His character isn't the greatest, but as a rival, as someone who just makes you want to beat them in a battle, I thought he did that element very well. So let's go on to the amazing tier. Up next is Clara. I also only played the Sword DLC, so I have no idea who Avery is. So I feel like I don't know if I could really rank Avery, because I didn't even bother to watch what the Shield DLC was like. This lady absolutely cheated to beat me. I was dumbfounded and bamboozled because I played it. I decided to buy the DLC like 3 years after it came out because I just didn't know if I wanted to spend money on it. But then I did a Nuzlocke and I was like, it'd be kind of fun, you know? How about we go to the Isle of Armor, or whatever it's called, and do that during the game. Let's spice it up a little bit. And I'm glad they at least scaled the levels for me. I absolutely struggled when I got to facing her. She cheated, putting down poison spikes at the beginning of the match. That Galarian Slowbro was a problem. I was dumbfounded, even though you barely had to deal with her. That's the one thing about the DLC rivals, which I know there's some from Scarlet and Violet. I didn't have them on the list because I've never played the Scarlet and Violet DLC, nor have I seen any footage from it, so I didn't feel like it would be proper to rank them. I could have just put them on the list and put like I don't know what to do with them, you know, like I've never really interacted with them type of tier. I didn't really bother doing that. With that being said, I guess I should have done that for Avery. Probably should have taken him off, but I'm gonna put Clara in the amazing tier because as a rival, I wanted nothing more than to beat her. This is like, I'm already grown up a little bit, and she pissed me off. When she's out here cheating, which is, I actually enjoy that about a rival. I think that is fantastic that she is a cheater and she will do whatever she can to win. Oh, I think that is a great thing. I'm putting her in the amazing tier. If you got more of her, if you had an entire game of her as the rival, she'd probably be in P. Because she's cutting corners, trying to cheat to beat you, trying to do all of these things. Oh, that's a perfect rival. We need more of that. We need more cheaters. I need more people to cheat because I think that just motivates you to want to beat them more, you know? Going back to the blue analogy, you're playing soccer, you're playing basketball, and there's just that one guy or one girl or one person who's just they're bending the rules. They're getting away with stuff that they really shouldn't. And it's just grinding your gears. You want nothing more than to absolutely break their ankles, score a goal on them, do something to just maybe not embarrass them, but to put them in their place and be like, I'm better. Like, I know you're talking all this trash and you're cheating, you're doing all these things to try and beat me. But I'm not. I'm going to do it by the rules. I'm going to do it by the rules and beat you that way. I think if you had an entire game as Clara, whatever her name is, however you pronounce it, I should say, as the main, rival, perfection. I think that would be so good. We need more cheaters. With that being said, we're going to move on. I'm just going to leave Avery there. I don't really know where to put him. I'll just put him in mid, or below average, just because I don't like his vibe. I don't know. There's something about Avery that's just not Clara. It's just not cool. It's not as good. Maybe he is. Maybe he's an even worse cheater, and I have no idea. But that being said, we're just going to move on. Going to move on to our last and final rival, Nimona. I'm going to put her in the peak, and the only reason why is because I like her more than those in the amazing tier. I enjoyed Nimona. At first, I was like, oh, she's taken the starter that I'm super effective against. But then she goes, oh yeah, I'm only doing this because I'm a champion. I'm already better than you. I'm like, oh, hold on. Whoa. So what you're saying is that you're making it easy for me because you think that's more of a challenge? You're going to insult me by saying, yeah, I'll take the lesser one. I'll take the one that you're better against because I'm just better than you. I'm going to beat you. Oh, okay. I didn't know it was like that. And then every time you battle her, I thought the frequency of the battles were pretty solid. I thought when you battled her were pretty solid. I enjoyed those encounters. I thought her teams were pretty okay. I enjoyed I thought the fact that she was a champion was super cool. The way that she was already a champion, I think that's what was kind of sick, because you're working up to fight her, and every battle you have with her, in the back of your mind, you're like, well, she's better than this. You know she's better than this. She's a champion. Like, she's only going easy on you on all these battles. Then when you finally get that final championship battle against her, you're motivated. You really want to show her up and be like, I know I'm better than you. I know I can beat you. And her champion team's all right. It's not the craziest in the world. But I just think as a rival, I thought it worked really well for me, because I was like, every single time I battled her, just in the back of my mind, I was like, I know she's way better than this. She's a champion after all. She's just going easy on me. And sure, her character was alright. She's just basically Goku. All she wanted to do was battle you every single time. She just wanted somebody to get on her level. The only reason why she's battling you is because she saw potential in you, and she said, oh, you could be strong. You might be able to even challenge me. I'm going to help you along your journey by battling you and taking it easy on you, but I'm going to push you towards the top. I thought overall, solid rival. I enjoyed her a lot. I think she's better than amazing, so I put her in the peak. Although I probably should have made an even better tier, or at least a tier between amazing and peak, because I do like the top 3 more than I like these 2. I don't know if I'd put them on the same level as N, Blue, or Silver, but they're gonna stay on the same level for now. With that being said, I think that wraps it up for today's video. That went way longer than I thought it would. So with that being said, if you ended up enjoying today's video, please feel free to leave a like, comment down below who is your favorite rival and why, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps your boy out. With that being said, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your week. We'll catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye.